Okay. Boom. 5, 4. Boom. We are alive, ladies and gentlemen, at a comfortable podcast Sunday evening session. We have one of Wu Wei's own, Alex Kushner. Alex, I'm excited to chat with you tonight. How about you introduce yourself?
Yeah, hey, what's everybody? Happy to be here. Been part of Wu Wei for Tio, what, almost 2 years
Yeah,
now?
run. No, not 2 years. That's how it feels. At least like 2 years
Yeah,
in Progress. It's 1 year. I think we were at a year in May. No, a year and a half. You're right. Okay, we're
yeah,
creeping over a year.
year and a half. Yeah, I know. And I started watching your content, as I got involved with NFTs and crypto and blockchain. You were one of the first channels I started watching, loved the content, and then I reached out. I was a TV producer. I worked for ABC, NBC, Disney, Al Jazeera, Huffington Post, all these places as a storyteller. Ended up partnering with a pretty big influencer. A lot of people know him, Jay Shetty, the good-looking guy with the British accent and the green eyes. And yeah, I just started really falling in love with the blockchain, the technology, and trying to understand it more. So I would just like spend hours and hours on my computer trying to understand how MetaMask works and Coinbase and sending ETH and all that, so I can buy these collectibles, which is what we're here to talk about today, which are these non-fungible tokens and a few projects I love, some signals I feel are happening, and kind of, I know it's been a rough ride the last year. September to September, it's been rough. It's been hard. So
No, this is
yeah,
awesome. What you talking about? This shit is awesome. The downtime is always fun. So Bear Family, I thought this would be a fun Sunday evening for a few reasons. So believe it in, we're gonna drop it. We're gonna look at some NFT metaverse and just we'll do some market at large, writ large conversation near the end. But ultimately, I wanted to try a podcast. I was on the road. Because I got a new microphone so that allows us to do this easier for the first time. So this is great. And because Alex is awesome, and the other day he told me he's like he wants to go full-time Web3. So I thought this might bring up a bunch of helpful ideas along the conversation. So Alex, tell us about your NFT journey so far.
yeah, no, it's been a year and a half. And my very first, I think, NFT I bought was, I think, Bulls on the Blockchain, which I don't know what they're doing right now, to be honest with you. I liked them. I think they were like a hot item at the time. But then the very second one I bought was CyberKongs. I'm actually wearing one of their shirts right now. And I love the art. I like monkeys, gorillas, the animal in real life. So I was like, oh, these are cool. Let me check it out. And honestly, I think I got a little lucky because, they've been, doing nothing but building and building through the last year and a half. They have a play and collect game out. They have three different types of Kongs: a Genesis Kong, which there's 1,000, there's a baby, which there's 4,000, and a VX, which I believe there's 15,000, which is playable in the metaverse. And they have a lot of partnerships and collaborations with other projects. And they're building in the sandbox. I think they have some of the biggest land ownership, and they're building cities and smaller cities and places to hang out, like a temple and things like that. And I just think they're doing a really good job. They're kind of on the forefront of things happening within NFT communities and NFT brands. I don't know if I can share now, but I just have some of the data and analytics to what's their kind of click to play game. It's called play and collect, and you're not playing as like an actual player in this game, but you're playing a game where you collect different prizes, like shields and armor and swords, and we don't know yet exactly what it's going to be used for. Probably some sort of actual battle game
I,
we're gonna play later. But yeah, man, there's so much to talk about. And then I'm feeling some signal now. We're ending Q3 into Q4. And one of the things I'm seeing is cyberpunk. So the OG collection, there has been some mega sales recently. Punk sold for, I believe, $3.5 to $4 million, maybe a little over 4
so
million
this is
just recently.
this is why I thought we could dive in. There's a few avenues that we can go here. So while we're here, let's just kind of start from the front end too. So wait, okay. Now that I'm talking, everyone should be able to see OpenSea. I think you might have only got you. I think you guys might have only seen my face while Alex was talking. I think we just fixed that too. But
Yeah.
so we're talking about cyber. Wait, it's just punks. Wait, you're talking about cyberpunks or punks?
Cyber Kongs, and then we'll go into cyberpunks.
I thought it
Cyber
was just
Kongs.
punks.
Well, we can
Crypto
talk about
punks.
punks.
We're talking about crypto punks.
Yeah, crypto punks. I was talking
I
about
know they
cyber
just call them
Kongs.
punks.
You just call them
I
punks.
love, I love, I
Crypto.
love
I might have
Sunday
said
night.
cyber punks. I meant to say
You did say cyberpunks. I
yeah,
love
yeah.
Sunday night
I meant to say
conversations
crypto
already.
punks.
Yeah, the less we get things right, the better here.
Yeah, it's later by me, and I have a 1-year-old, so you know.
No, it's perfect. So here's the
yeah,
here's the OpenSea data, right? Here's the 90-day average of sales.
what I would go to, Tio, and maybe I can can I share or no? It's go to the CryptoPunks bot on Twitter.
Well, so there's a few different ways to look at this data. Twitter's one of them too, and I think you actually have screen share.
Okay, so if I'm gonna share my screen. Host disabled participant.
Oh right, I didn't pass it to you. Woohoo!
Yeah, no worries. But yeah, once you just tell me when I can do it, and I'll pop it up.
Okay, there you go.
All right, I'm the host. So I'm going to share my screen. Can you see the screen right here?
Yes.
Awesome. So this is Twitter. It's the CryptoPunks bot. And you can kind of see all the latest data. You know, a bid of 125 ETH, which is 159,000. Another one just sold for 91 grand, or 980 ETH. Bid, which is 1.2 million. Bought for 900, so $1.2 million sale. This is just yesterday, October 1st. October 1st, 61 ETH. I haven't seen this kind of action in a while. It's I don't know if not a lot of people talk about it or whatnot, but the biggest one, which is just a few days ago, I'm going to scroll down a little bit. But you can see a new bid of 700 ETH. I mean, people are bidding.
How many per day? It's how many per day? Just find a day and count it, like 10 a day.
Yeah. It's probably around 10 a day, where these are super strong bids in a really not so good time in the NFT market and markets in general. And you're kind of going like, all right, well, these are the OG collections. Sometimes things start with a new bid of 800 ETH. You can kind of see all these. Here's the big sale that was just a few days ago, was bought for 3,300 ETH. That's $4,400,000. So I have to think about this and go, why are people buying these right now? Right? Like,
that's a great fucking question.
Right. Why? This is
why are people spending so much money on this shit?
Right. And so I have to think that, maybe this is some sort of signal. We're going into Q4. We all know September is a really bad month for all markets, general markets, including crypto, NFT market. Is this a signal where maybe October, there's something coming? Maybe the first 2 weeks of October, it's still a little rough, but then we can kind of see this upswing. And that includes the NFT market. I just can't, I don't know why the whales, right? The people with the most money are doing this. So if they're acquiring at the bottom, let's say this is the bottom, maybe it's a signal that there is going to be a shift. And that's kind of these sales do for me. And the other thing I was talking about from CryptoPunks was CyberCons. This is their play to earn, or I should say play to collect game. Where you can go into this portal using your VX Kongs. And I got to switch the network, which I'm not going to do this second, but you can play and earn Kongium, and you go on these fuel rod runs. This is a blue chip collection. And I know a lot of people are like, what's blue chip? They've been around for
blue chip. If it comes around from the stock world, right? Blue chips are considered like the top. And railroad stocks, would be considered blue chip.
They've been around. Yeah, they've been around for about a year and a half, and they just introduced this new thing. If I click this thing called the claw, you get sent to, this. You have to win this through the play and collect game. It's super rare. It's very difficult to win. But if you do, there's music playing, so I'm just gonna close it. But if you do play it, they're one of the OG Kongs. His name's Coco. He bought with his own ETH, I'm guessing 1,000 ETH worth of other really good collections, including our own, that you can win in that claw. I don't know any other NFT project that's done something like this where they've literally used 1,000 ETH, donated it to the community, basically, where you play and collect, do the play and collect game. You could potentially win this golden ticket or earn this golden ticket and try to get some really rare, high quality NFT items, including a CyberKong Genesis, which if you go to, I'm on OS now, a CyberKong Genesis is, let's see what the floor price is on these right now, 16.9 ETH. So, we're talking about, that's, I think, $30,000 or $40,000. So, I mean, it's just incredible what they're doing.
Is around 23,000.
23,000. Sorry. ETH price is, always fluctuating. So yeah, it's incredible. There's only like 34 of these for sale right now. So, I mean, if a couple people bought a couple of these, I mean, you can see how quickly, that's their Genesis collection. Then if we go back, the babies, now this earns you, these every day. It's about 2.5 ETH for these. I think this one, I'm the most bullish on babies. I really think there's only 100 for sale. There's 4,000 of them and only 100 for sale. You do the math. I mean, these things could fly. I think there was a 15 ETH high at one point that these were going for. They yield what is called charms. Basically, they're like a luck charm when you do that play and collect game, when you're running these runs and to earn really rare items. There's going to be more utility, I'm sure, announced. The utility for those Genesis I just showed you is this banana token. So banana is like the CyberKong's utility token. It's tradable on QuickSwap, Uniswap. It's trading for about 97 cents right now. The all-time high for it at one point, believe it or not, was at $105.
Well, you're there. Just read I love CoinGecko, by the way. Yeah. Shout out to Bobby Ong. Read the rest of the data. Tell us the all-time low, all-time high.
All-time low, I believe. Let's see. I gotta
99.2%.
Yeah, it's crazy. 50 cents.
$122.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's so crazy.
And so one of the utility for the Genesis is that they yield 10 of these banana tokens a day. So at one point, if you had one of these, it was generating you $1,000 a day. That's $365,000 a year by just holding it. If the price obviously stood that high, it's much lower now. But
this is one of the things about liquidity. This is why the price is so low.
Yeah.
You're constantly pushing liquidity back into the market, and when people have, they sell. Usually.
Yeah, so we'll see what they do here, and I just have some of the
analytics. Go back.
We'll go back.
What's the circulating supply, and how many? Like, what's the max mint? A $5 million market cap? Is that what it says?
I believe so. Yeah, market cap 5.6 million.
Yes, most of them, they're trying to measure most of the value in the culture data.
Yeah. And one of the things, we're burning a lot of bananas playing this game. I'm going to get into that.
Scroll up.
Yeah.
What's the circulating supply? Wait, is it the max total supply? 5,792,000. Really? That is wild. I wonder if there's something wrong there. I wonder if there's a bigger total supply that creates emissions that we're unaware of. Do you know?
I don't know. I do know that we burn. So I'm going to click on this. So this is the play and collect data so far. There's been 1.86 million runs. This is how much banana has been burned, Tio. 1,097,000 banana has been burned since this game started. The CyberKong's play and collect. This is the banana prize pool. So at the end of every 10 days, a new season starts. So you submit all the banana.
But how many bananas are there in total? That's what I want to.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
is there a max mint on bananas?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I don't know the exact answer to that. The total amount of banana.
Because there's only 21 million Bitcoin, which is like, I don't know, 8 quadrillion Satoshis.
Right.
Wait, 20. Sorry. Like, I think it's 21 quadrillion Satoshis. I think that's it.
Yeah, no, I know. I don't know the exact, and this is just kind of, the cyber fragments, which are these things that those babies earn: rainbow crystal, Promethean relic. This is the most rare, medium rare, not so rare. and how many have been claimed, how much have been burned. A lot. This is crazy. There's 398 claimed and 313 burned. There's not many of these, and they can be sold and traded on OpenSea, and they are.
Well, okay, so a lot of people here, and rightly, probably don't recognize video games for some of this stuff. I don't know how much time you've spent looking at Steam, but have you looked at the Steam community data around like sales of guns and skins and Counter-Strike, this kind of thing? I think it's on Steam.
No, I haven't. But the one I was going to go into this next, but talking
Gala
about
Games.
Steam, Gala Games, kind of shifting out of CyberKongz. I love CyberKongz, so they're near and dear to my heart, and I love what they're doing. But Gala Games is a very large company. I mean, they're valued at over $1 billion, and they're building a whole suite.
I think I saw it lower than that, but at least in terms of the Gala Games token.
Yeah, based on the Gala Games token, but the one that I like, and we can look at this data, is this game Mirandus. Or Mirandus. It's kind of like the World of Warcraft MMORPG. It's you can buy this on OpenSea. You can buy it on the store, and click on the store and find a lot of stuff gets sold out. But these things are expensive, and people are buying it. I mean, 188,000 Gala for this ship. I believe Gala is trading around 4 cents right now. Its all-time high was around like 89 cents. People are buying these things, and they're very expensive, and they're selling out a lot of stuff. And then on the secondary markets, we can just look up real quick on OpenSea. Actually, I have it in my saved things because I actually look at this a lot, is Mirandus homesteads. So this is one of the cheapest piece of land you could buy as a homestead. Is going
this is ridiculous.
1.3 ETH right now. But if you click on Mirandus, you can see the secondary sales of Mirandus. Just this one project for Gala Games as it loads up here. I don't know why it's taking so long. I believe it's in the thousand. Yeah, 16,000 total volume of just this one game on secondary. This is secondary, so not even including everything in the store for this game, is 16,000 ETH volume, and people sell it here, where you can buy characters. You can eventually be able to rent these characters out.
You mentioned something the other day I thought was pretty fun. You were in a conversation.
I'm going to stop share real quick so you can see us.
Well, yes, we will. You said you were talking with a buddy, and like, what does everyone want from like NFTs? Like, to make money. Is one of the unique parts about Web3. We always talk about just this relationship with the ownership is everything. I think that's probably what it is people have just massively underestimated how important ownership might be. Now we can get into some philosophical arguments about some utopic society that doesn't exist today. But in terms, of ownership means so much. And we haven't really seen anything like this before. We started talking about cyberpunks. Or so CryptoPunks, the same fucking thing you did. We started talking about CryptoPunks, and I love the early Genesis launch. And what it reminded me of is Van Gogh to some degree. What I thought was fascinating about these artists, or even Basquiat, where they're not really famous for during their life as an artist.
Right.
The art doesn't really capture an audience until years. Sometimes Van Gogh was like a few hundred years later or some shit. I don't remember I don't know Van Gogh's dates, but it was probably a few hundred years later before his art really caught on. You go from like being a fucking bum broke artist, cutting your ear off and shit, broke up with your girlfriend, like hype is a fucking dump, and you end up being one of the most valued artists, like 1,000 or like 1,000 lifespans of your own later, basically.
Yeah.
So what I like about this is that we're seeing more of a free to play and play to own merge take place. I saw the Star Atlas stuff looks amazing too. I guess what I want to do is let's posit it as a question. You're talking about delivering products and games. How do we deliver something that just gives people more money? I mean, ultimately, that's been what's amazing, right? A lot of this is about liquidity and how people get more money back from the ownership of these growing brands. Yeah,
I
who
think
else is out there?
I think
I mean, Gala Games is great.
yeah, Miria is an up and coming one. I can hear a little bit of an echo in your but I don't know, it's gone now.
Damn.
Miria is another one that's kind of this up and coming, similar to Gala Games. They're going to have a suite
Well,
I think,
we love Miria.
yeah, 20 titles. They also, we didn't even get into nodes, right? And what these nodes are. Basically, they yield you by owning one, they yield you the token of Gala, or Miria is going to earn you Miria token that you run on your computer, that yields you this token every single day, and possibly other bonuses and airdrops. So it's just so, I think ultimately people are here in this space, this Web3, crypto, NFT, whatever word you want to say, to make a living, to earn coin, right? That's why it first got me interested. I'm like, oh, there's a way to make more money, have a new revenue stream by just holding an object, a picture, or what does this all mean? And as you kind of dive into it, it's like, and you go into these communities on Discord, and it's like, how do you flip? Like, what's this project at right now? Maybe it's going to go to here, and then I'm going to flip and sell it. Like, ultimately, people are really here to make money. Now, the fun part is that, hey, I like video games, I like movies and television, I like music. So now you're telling me I can also play games, watch film, and listen to music and also make money. Like, that's what Gala is really leading, this space with these nodes and the way they're approaching Web3. So I just think it's going to be so interesting the next 5 to 10 years. On top of that, all these metaverses. I think 2023 is going to be the year of the metaverse, right? Sandbox, I believe, is launching. Decentraland, Other Side, which is Yuga Labs, World Wide Web. All of these metaverses, I believe, are coming out next year at some point. At least that's what they're saying. And it's going to be so interesting to see all of this stuff we own, these NFTs we own that are going to finally be playable. How much time are people going to be spending in these metaverses? Which metaverse is going to win? And ultimately, what are these things going to be worth? How are people going to value them? And then brands are going to be spending a lot more money on metaverses than on social media. That's going to be a huge shift in 2023. I have the privilege to speak with probably the number one guy in the space about NFTs and all that kind of stuff, and just talking about the brand dollar that's going into this space, and it's going to be a lot of money is going to be spent here. And once we're already seeing venture capital, right? Real money. We're talking about billions and billions and billions, and if not trillions of dollars that is on the sidelines right now. I think their numbers in the trillions. That's cash on the sidelines. That's going to, at some point, when just things are just at the worst time ever, going to be scooping up these assets, whether it's NFTs, land in the metaverse at a level and at a pace that you've never seen before. I think it's going to happen in the very near future. I think the ones that have been accumulating now and into the future it's going to pay off. Now, a lot of this stuff is not going to work. There's going to be projects that fail, metaverses that fail. But I think if you kind of play the VC play, which is invest in 20 or 30 or 40 different projects and different metaverses, you'll ultimately win. But there's some risk in that. So that's kind of my overall feel and sentiment of this space and why people are here and what I think is going to happen. It's going to take patience, because you hear a lot of people, if you watch a lot of YouTubers, Tio, this, like younger guys, we're in our mid 30s, guys younger than us.
Don't tell people how fucking old we are.
Yeah, dude.
I'm 22.
I'm 20. Mentally, I'm 22, maybe, but we've been through. We've both owned companies. We've both, done a lot of stuff, and we're not that old, right? We're still relatively young.
Fucking with you,
and so we're seeing. I think
I've been watching too much Flagrant. That's what it is.
Impatience, and I think you just got to be patient. You hear a lot of these young, NFT pages, and they're just like, they sound stupid, like they're high half the time or drunk, or you hear these people on Twitter spaces like just talking nonsense or just not making sense in these projects that want to like be mysterious, and we don't know who the founders are, and we don't know who this. I'm like, that's like, you got to get rid of that. Like, these are, if you want to build a real brand, a real business, like, you're going to have to expose yourself. You're going to have to say, hey, I'm Joe Blow. This is what I do. This is who I am. If you really want to build. And I think that whole mystique thing of being an owner, like it's eventually going to have to fade away. Like no one really gives a fuck. You're not that special. Like who gives a shit? Like just come out, build a brand, build a bit. Because I see these NFT projects as brands. These projects are brands and they want to get brand recognition. And that's kind of what I see happening is that all of, Doodles and, VeeFriends, obviously Gary's leading that, CyberKongs and a bunch of other, projects that are out there. They're brands and they want to do collaborations with major businesses and corporations that quite frankly aren't up to speed with the lingo, the terminology, how this stuff even works.
No, they have no idea what's going on. Everyone,
but this is the thing. They're interested. They want to have the conversations. And if the founders don't step up and are able to have these high level conversations and not, I guess, come off, I don't know the right word, but just kind of like young and not knowing what's going on and how to handle themselves in a C-suite conversation in a Fortune 500 setting, they might be left in the dust and, hey, there's another project. I'll go invest in them. Their founders are really cool. They're knowledgeable. They're smart. They're not mysterious and have like some voice changer and like a black screen. Like those times I think are going to end. I think you're going to see that shift.
Well, I mean, some of it will never change. I mean, look at Dr. Disrespect or whatever. Like the character is important, like the profile picture, I guess you could call it to some degree. Post Malone is another example of like a more extreme version of that. But ultimately, I think what's interesting here, and I think the thread that you've identified is that culture runs deeply here. One of the things that's more like hooks on to the individual more deeply is that portion from identity. Like, oh, I'm, whether it's a profile picture or the way you build yourself in your social media or your online presence, effectively, the characters that you get in the game, as you've pointed out, collectibles, and then as CryptoPunks also shows us too, maybe just this very unique artistic expression. Art is, and what's interesting about art, if you look at, because these are all different subsets of what an NFT can do, and this is kind of one of the downsides too, is the rundown term of a non-fungible token, or just, okay, well, it's not fungible. It says a lot of things that aren't fungible, technically speaking, right? Whereas that we go through our lives with a lot of non-fungible things. It's not unusual. We just don't normally see it in the digital setting, right? And that's what's so unique, is because you have something that can't replace this other thing. Whereas in currency, you don't have that identity attached to the transaction of like X amount of stock, right? If you sell X amount of stock, you don't, like, your character's visual doesn't change necessarily. It does monetarily speaking, like in the real world where you sell a bunch of stock, it's like net positive for you. But here, what's again interesting is that people are more deeply identifying with the artistic aspects, the creative aspects, and that's something that we didn't see as much of in early 2017. The tokens. So I think what we're witnessing is definitely the adaptive application layer has developed significantly, even though the back end, the technical logistics of trying to explain to people why you'd want such high-end cryptography, managing conversations around ownership, is still well above most people's pay grade. But you can kind of trick them with some like cute photos of a seal or some shit, some video games,
Right.
So this is where I started to get really interested in the kind of the culture war. Is like, okay, well, a big part of the conversation is how you get rid of government isn't about by getting rid of governments by making something better. Quite often, how do you get rid of currency or identity, or how do you change what identity means? So I love these grassroots ideas that kind of pop up. One of the things I jumped over in the background here, just so you can see, you can see my screen with my face on it, right? Okay, so this isn't the best website, but these are some CS:GO skins and weapons on here. Look at this, factory new, $780 for this.
What project is this, or what's this for?
This is Counter-Strike.
Okay.
So what's interesting here is these motherfuckers got data. So look at this. This is a factory new $6,000 gun for this game.
Oh yeah, a fake gun, right? A
A fake
digital
fucking
gun.
gun.
Yeah, yeah. It's
It's
not
not a
even
real gun.
right.
No, you could live in a country that bans guns. You could buy this gun.
Yeah,
These
rather, yeah.
guns are legal.
Yeah, no,
Well,
it's
I don't.
incredible. Like the amount of money people want to spend on these digital items, right? It's like sometimes I was talking to, I don't want to say who, but talking about buying some CyberCon babies, and they're like, "Well, $3,000, man, on this thing," and I'm like, "I'm telling you, it's going to be worth it." But that's how people see it. Like they don't see it in ETH, they see it in USD, like you see here, $8,000 for a digital weapon. Like people will spend the money if they believe that it will ultimately make them money, right? If they're saying, I'm going to buy this gun for 6,000, I'm going to buy this cyberpunk baby for 3,000, but I know at some point I'm holding an asset that has value that I can play with, earn with, and maybe eventually sell it down the road. So I think everyone is it's such an interesting time for not only us as consumers and users and early adopters, but also the creators. It's a golden age for creators to create art and get recognition, and people to join their community and love their artwork or love whatever it is that they want to make and put it out on some of these Web3 platforms, and create a Discord group. It's just such an interesting time. And I'm looking forward to seeing kind of where it all goes over the next few months and years.
Here we go. So this is the Steam community market. This is what I was trying to find. So these are the more common items. So you got a recoil case on here for $127. Okay, let's go price here. Let's go highest. Okay, here we go. The souvenir M4A1 starting at 2,000. Let's take a look here. What's interesting?
And how many people have bought it? How many people have bought this?
This is the fun thing, is some of this has data going back a while. So this starts November 27, $271, had a low of 3 cents. Some of them sold for 3 cents. And then now lately, you haven't had a sale this last year for let's see, this cheapest one is $103 from three. You can't buy a ton of them here, right? Because they're very illiquid prices. But these are NFTs without the NFT, and you already see market data here, which is fascinating to me. So, but there were a few other that had much longer streams of data, and where the price had gone up, like you had seen 100x increase where someone had spent $1 and it's worth $100, right? It's like, the same type of growth within, let's take a look at this one here.
And that's what's great about OpenSea too. I think, they have all of now we have, over almost two years of data where you can see, I have open on my screen now, the CyberCon babies data, right? They launched in, I believe it was April 18th, 2021. And all-time high of 15 ETH on October 6th, 2021. And kind of had a lull, and then shot back up to about 10.9 ETH, and now we're sitting right around 2.45 ETH. And you can see all the sales and all this stuff. It's so cool that there's a lot of data, and also these secondary sites are capturing all that. And then you have like Dune Analytics, which we looked at before of the game. We have, Nansen has a great data center. There's so many, actually. There's a lot of great sources to find this data about sales for these NFT metaverse gaming projects, that you can kind of do your own research, right? Always look into things before you buy it, and kind of don't try to.
No, Alex, just randomly buy the most expensive shit you possibly.
Some people do
Throw your money straight in the fucking garbage.
Hey, listen, I think I've done it, right? We all kind of like,
everyone has at one point.
Yeah,
that's a lesson. That's called a lesson.
Like, this is the thing. Like, you need to buy it now. It's going to go to 8, 9, 10, 12.
Yeah, Alex, check this out. Sorry, here I've just been pinning around. So here's from September. Right, so this is a year worth of data. They sold for $868. One sold for $870, and now you had a peak out of like 1440 for one or two sold. Now it's not a ton sold. You get like one or two sales every day. But when you look, when you go back and you look at site like CryptoPunks, man, you fucking forever ruin that shit now. I'm just gonna say cyberpunk, like
Yeah,
nonsense.
CryptoPunks.
There's not a ton of sales every day. There's only a few, and the fact that these things are even selling a few every day is pretty profound. Like, oh, okay, you had one sold on September 22nd, and then you didn't have another sale till October 1st.
Yeah, which
Right?
is, just when some of those CryptoPunks were selling, we had a $1 million sale, a $4 million sale. So, I mean, it's interesting. I think there's a lot of people with a lot of money that see a lot of value in these digital
Well,
assets.
well, yeah, there's a potential. There's the video game one is such a game changer because once you realize the video game sector is the biggest entertainment sector,
Yeah.
like out of all of them. Like I didn't realize that for so long. Like talking about dwarfing the NBA, like movies, music. I think it's bigger than all of them combined or something ridiculous, right? So
And we're still early. And I think there's going to be, like games like Mirandus, which is the Gala Games MMORPG. That's really desktop, right? We haven't even talked really about mobile, like a real mobile playable game that's, Web3, that you can just use on your phone, going in and out of work, traveling, that's earning you, tokens every day that are, valuable, extremely valuable, in real life. Like there's just so much potential for gaming, and it will create a whole new opportunity for a lot of people, especially young people, like, even in, our age and younger, to build some wealth for themselves, I think that's ultimately why people are here, is to build wealth for themselves. Like that's really what it is. And there's these new marketplaces that are opening up, that have opened up, where people are making a lot of money, and the opportunity is real. And
well,
they're trying to take advantage of it.
it's the underlying technology just changes everything basically. I think one of the things again, I always read gamers who are talking about crypto about how well how it needs to be a fun game. It's like, bro, fucking chess ain't fun. It's a game that's lasted a long time. Like games don't need to be fun. Like clearly, fucking chess ain't fun. I mean, I like playing chess. I'll play a game of chess, but for most people, chess isn't fun, right? So the game itself is more about a relationship with different skill sets of how you like playing. Like I like playing Fortnite. Like I was playing Fortnite with my little brother the other day because it's fun to sit down and jam. We could talk about whatever's going on, family stuff, and moving in with a girlfriend or whatever. So there's different avenues where different aspects of what a game is that's valuable, but ownership is just so powerful. What's interesting again to me is what you've brought up is that if you had told me in 2017, all like you could, because CryptoPunks are basically, they're all free. They're like super cheap for a long time too. I think the price was down at like a few $100, but ultimately what's so difficult to imagine is the way people identify with culture, because art isn't easy to recognize right away. That's why some art sells for so much way after they're gone. Well, for number one, we know the scarcity is locked, so fucking Van Gogh ain't painting no more. Right. There's a time to the things, so that the longer there's almost like a Lindy like effect. You know what the Lindy effect is?
No, can you explain it?
Okay, so we'll grab the Lindy.
Yeah, and as you look that up, it's the same right in the NFT marketplace. There's a locked amount, right? There's only going to be 4,000. There's only going to be 1,000. There's only going to be 10,000. And we're so early. I still feel like that once this does catch, right, and we're into year 3, 4, 5, 6, and you have 1 million people playing, 10 million, 100 million, 1 billion people in this space. These items and these brands that grow and choose to build and choose to adapt, their assets will be astronomically valuable. Like CryptoPunks has become. And
well, this is, you brought up something here that I mention all the time, which is that valuable and price are two different things, and the value of something is not easily recognizable. Ultimate, so that this is different, right? Because art could be beautiful, which is why someone wants to more of like the beauty is in the eye of the beholder, whereas value is much different. In the hint of survival mechanisms kicking in, like value fucking shifts towards food and water only,
Right.
right? Like, so other items all of a sudden become worth way more than any other thing that you would have. Like all of a sudden that little piece of flint you got might be is like, I would give everything for that flint back, you know? So there's a function outside of survival where what we start to do is have group hallucinations, and that currency is in itself a meme. That's one of the reasons why I thought Dogecoin was always or wasn't a, or why I thought it was a worthwhile idea, is because it matched what I already recognized currency to be, which is largely mimetic. It's this group hallucination that people are having. And art is effectively no different. You have a level of social proof that starts to kick in, and everyone starts to identify with art, and you get these unique waves that might be able to last for a really long time. Like CryptoPunks, like we already know Van Gogh's lasted for fucking ever, right? You got artists that are doing so well on this long-term intermediate or this long-term basis that there are no way in ever possible to get remuneration for. Any artist that doesn't see the potential there for building a foundation for their art, there's so many cool aspects for the artist. But ultimately, what the best art is usually not what people see. Like, I spent so much of my life studying music, and the world's best musicians, it's very unlikely you'll ever hear them because they don't end up on the radio. If they don't end up on your fucking iPod, they end up in like weird, like unique, very specific types of concerts that you would probably never be at.
But the unique opportunity now, right? So all that artwork, all this rare art for years and years, hundreds of years, you could only so few people could access it. You had to go to auctions, you had to be in real life, or then you could go on your computer and I can auction on my computer. But now you can own these assets, right, in digital form. And these artists, these creators are creating digital assets. And they're saying, hey, I'm only going to make 1,000 of these. I'm only going to make 100 of these. You can own them in this open market. Like that is interesting. That's what I think, Web3 has now offered to.
Yes. Well, what's interesting is it adds more fungibility to the artist if they're paying attention closely. Okay, so here the Lindy effect is a theorized phenomenon by which the future life expectancy of some non-perishable thing like technology or idea is proportional to their current age. That's not always the case, but it's just a general phenomenon. Thus, the Lindy effect proposes the longer period something has survived or to exist or is currently used in the present, the longer its remaining life expectancy. Longevity implies a resistance to change, obsolescence or competition, and greater odds of continued existence into the future. So where does the Lindy effect does not apply? Obviously, there are certain things we know that are going to change, like mortality rates, right? Like maybe the lifespan of certain objects like suns. We can get into like much more longer macro conversations, but with technology, what you seem to find is that, we've had chairs, we're going to continue to have chairs. Like it's very likely 1,000 years from now, if humans are still around, we're still going to have fucking chairs. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like something's been around, like we're not replacing the chair. Yeah, we're not. Well, maybe we get to a floating space or something, but ultimately this is kind of the premise, is that when you have these long lasting technologies, once they get seeded, they stay there for a long time. And this is what I think the data that you're recognizing with the CryptoPunks, if someone's willing to pay $4 million today, what's unique about the art world, like Basquiat, the artist whose shirt I'm wearing, the most expensive piece of art in history still today, sold for like $150 million. And I guarantee that the guy who bought it is never going to sell it. It's just going to end up passed down and in some collection. And then the last time it was sold was at $150 million. Like that art piece sells like once every 100 years or some shit.
Right.
Like it's not even trying to get sold.
And this is good. And this is my advice to people watching, is that if you really truly believe in some of this NFT art you're buying, NFT games, buy at least two and keep one for as long as you possibly can, because
so if you
the
don't own
value,
two CryptoPunks,
right? You can always sell one, right? We all need to have liquid. You don't, maybe some tough times, whatever, but keep the other because
play around. You know?
Right.
It's one of the things I always like that you're doing is you're always limiting your losses by executing playful strategies. I think a lot of people don't do that enough, which is they look at investing and they think that you're like, oh, if I'm going to buy it, it's got to be a Bored Ape or something. It's like so much of this, that what's valuable is understanding why it's valuable, because once you get it, you can see where it applies. And that's kind of where you and I were having a conversation last time. It's like, well, what is the market missing? Like, where can people start to grow? And also, as you've clearly identified too, there's a ton of venture capital money that's going to flow in here where there's not enough founders, there's not enough creative people out there to kind of cover the bill and bring to life this the next fruition of the internet. Now, well, we won't get into any of the pessimism tonight, which is more of the like world.
Yeah, that's not. But you know me, I'm a natural optimist.
Yes,
you save that for the next one.
no, we'll take a closer look at currencies on another chat here. So let's see, what else do I got open? And just for some perspective, I guess too, because I did think that this was kind of fun. There's minimum ask today. Where was it here? Here are the top 10 CryptoPunk sales in Ethereum. 8,000, 4,000, 3,300. So that hoodie guy you showed me, that's now in the top three most expensive CryptoPunk sales.
We should check his wallet. We should look into his wallet. What else does he own?
I think you can definitely do it, right? You just go to OpenSea, take a look at which one he bought.
Yeah.
And then follow him backwards. This is the other aspect, is the accountability that might come from a financial system that people can actually watch instead of one that's been obfuscated from them. Because when what you own, you don't know who owns, where owns, how much of what.
Yeah, we should, and it'd be interesting too. When was the last really big purchase of a CryptoPunk? And maybe we can look at the markets and see what conditions they were in.
Well, we don't have enough data necessarily. There's just, Alex, I'm not sure where we're going to end up here, because if my contention is, if they aim to continue to raise the interest rates, they're going to destroy the front end economy. They're going to scare all the United States dollars back to the US banks. The US banks are then going to they're going to pull a fucking Do Kwon, and they're going to jack interest rates up to like 20% as they call that money back, because they can just print it and give it away anyways. We already know that these motherfuckers can run a Ponzi scheme and get away with it because everybody's hallucinating that the dollar works, right? The more people that hallucinate Bitcoin as the currency, the better. But it's really about like how many people have hallucinated the US dollar works. So if they start to call the US dollar back, you see the interest rates jack up, they're going to create a liquidity crisis that absolutely destroys most other markets around the world, like you're seeing in euro, the euro, the pound, the Canadian dollar. Costa Rica, actually, we've been doing well. We're back down. We were up at like 680. We're down to 630. It's actually gone like better. I thought it was going to get much worse down here, but
yeah, ultimately,
when that starts to happen, that's when the real test comes. And that's when all hell breaks loose and velocity just goes like, do you remember in the beginning of the pandemic when they were like, oil is negative $127 a barrel?
Right. I don't know what it was, but yeah, I mean, it
was negative $127 a barrel.
I know. My thing, like, I know you have such these like deep, looks at, the world and kind of like where we're going and what could happen, what couldn't happen. And ultimately we don't have control of those things and we have to be ready and prepared. But, I one of your famous quote, not your quote, but I can't remember who said it, but like when there's blood on the streets,
Baron von Rothschild.
Yeah, and one of the richest families to ever exist. I believe they were in Bavaria or somewhere in that region.
Yeah, probably still up there. But
Yeah,
that's
so
some we could get into this. That's a bit shoot or rumble only
right.
conversation.
My goal is like always make money, always be working, always try to make money as best you can, and always
Yes.
be investing, because if it does get worse, maybe it does get a little worse here in this, I'm in the States. I'll keep investing and I'll keep, putting my money to work. And if it
Yes.
gets a
You
little
can
better,
aggregate opportunity. No, you're
yeah,
right. This is the other thing. I think a lot of people, they see a wave coming. You think, oh, that was my only chance. Like, oh, I should have been investing in the fucking .com bubble. And you're like, so you're gonna give up? Like that's the only technology boon we're gonna have in a
right.
lifespan? Come on now. Effectively, we've been watching technology overtake everything. It's hard to keep up.
I
So
guess what I'm trying to do, from my personal, like I'm just talking about me. It's like, so my grandparents came to the United States after World War II. They from Ukraine. I'm Ukrainian, 100%. And when they came to the United States, they didn't have anything. And they worked in New York City. They lived in Brooklyn, New York. And my grandfather had an opportunity to buy a small building in the East Village. And this is like 1960s, 1970s New York. They didn't have the hindsight to go, oh yeah, they were like, this place is a dump. Like no one's going to want to live in New York. In New York, if you have to understand, during those times, it was shitty. New York in the early 70s, late 60s was shit. Like no one was living in these places were cheap. I think he could have bought the building for like $18,000 to $20,000. But he didn't, because he was like, he didn't have that view. My parents too, they built a nice life for themselves, but investing wise, they just never saw that like
there's
long.
no education. There's
And
no
then for me,
education.
I'm like, I want to end that. Like, I'm going to invest, I'm going to hold these assets for as long as I can and build a portfolio for the future. I have a son now. Hopefully, we want to have some more kids, but I'm, thinking 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now. And that's where I see, holding these NFTs, holding these crypto assets could be worth an astronomical amount in 10, 20, 30, 40 years.
Well, I mean, for CryptoPunks, it would have been a few years.
Yeah.
We're going to have more of this.
What's a CryptoPunk going to be worth in 40 years?
Who knows? It could be worth nothing.
100 million?
We have it could be worth nothing. But the Lindy effect says every day the shit keeps selling and stays around. It's more likely it's going to stick around.
Let me tell you something. These people that are spending $4, $5, $6 million, I guarantee you they come from very wealthy, very smart families, and they know that this is probably something that's going to be here for a while.
Not always. It depends. I mean, you get a wide variety of people that end up with money. Like money is not an indicator of intelligence or success necessarily. You could have money without either of those things. But here's one of the things I do agree with, though, is that people in the short term don't identify those trends fast enough. When they do identify them, they get focused on the one and only trend, and then they think that that's the thing that they need to be good at. I was reading a book called How to Get Rich, not because I don't like books like this, but I was interested in this guy's story. It's kind of like his autobiography. He started like Maxim magazine, and he sold a bunch, PC World, a bunch of other magazines. One of the things he talks about is having kind of made a mistake. He's like, well, what's the goal? He's like, the goal was to get fucking rich. He's like, somewhere along the way, I got confused and thought I was supposed to be like the best magazine publisher or some shit like this, right? Whereas along the way, we get interested in something like, I'm into NFTs, right? Because this is the thing. There's a wave. And it's like, I got to get really good at this to keep up and make value or curate value from this trend effectively. And then we get kind of caught up in, like, well, what's my goal here? Everyone's goal is obviously different. Rich is his word for it. I feel very similarly about that. It's like, I want to be wealthy. So ultimately, what I think people get wrong is in that short term, when they find something, they get too attached. Whether it was, if they didn't pick up on it, they didn't invest early, they invest late, they get burned, and then they all just, too many people always get to this curve somewhere along the way, and then they just give up. They're like, oh, it doesn't fit the standards, like I was too late. And they forget that waves keep coming. Like every day, the ocean is fucking bombarded by
Right.
new waves. Like,
And you have to learn by doing too, right? Like you can't always, and that's kind of like I've been early, I've been late, and I've learned by doing. And I think that's ultimately like the lesson here is that you also just can't stay on the sidelines forever. Like whether you want to start a business or become a trader or do something, you have to try and execute it and fail and then build back up and learn from those
I'm
mistakes.
so glad you didn't say build back better. I would have had to smack you through the screen.
No, just just learn from it. And yeah, I think that's
My
one of
conspiracy friends will know what I'm talking about.
the build back. I don't know what the fuck that means, but
Oh
whatever.
God, it was a WEF talking point.
Okay.
No, you're right. But again, that identification aspect is that people don't like failing, whereas every step of the way, you know you're going to fail. How much are you going to risk when you fail each time? And a lot of the times, people build that risk, they put it too high, and they
Right.
don't take any risks. So instead of buying a fucking Bitcoin when they're only $20 and you can just dink around with $20, they wait till it's just some astronomically high price. Because in the early days when it's cheap, it's the days when you're experimenting. It's the
Yeah.
days when CryptoPunks are free to fucking mint and you just need Ethereum and gas because you're exploring new technology. And often that's what a lot of this is. You know, what I liked about that too is the thread that this guy was pulling with I accidentally became like one of the world's best magazine publishers. Like, okay, well, the point isn't to become the thing, right? The thread that weaves these ideas, weaves in between this is identifying value, right? And identifying wealth, and there in any subset of ideas. It just so happens that the video games culture and ownership are like extraordinarily valuable like subsets of culture already. Games have been around for forever, identity's been around for forever, money. So you got multiple trends coming together now, plus technology. So I'm super excited about NFTs. I think there's gonna be these few that have a Lindy effect that end up being Van Goghs. Shit, they may last generations. You might see CryptoPunks 1,000 years into the fucking future. It's got that type of potential, right? So this is a trend that you get it right once early from experimenting, often by accident, and you could be set for life. And that's how a lot of entrepreneurs kind of take it one step at a time.
I mean, just trying to finish off the conversations and grades, like I accidentally stumbled upon, the cyber Kongs and I'm holding on, I've held on, and I've been seeing nothing but growth since I bought. And, it just took me with curiosity and just to say, hey, let me look into this stuff. Let me check it out. Let me test and learn. And it's paid off. And, these people keep building and creating and, for opportunities for the holders. And it's just been really interesting. I'm going to continue to, work in this space, build in this space.
Here's Sherilyn. I'm going to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Sherilyn from the chat. Okay, we'll do the last 15 minutes chat questions. So everybody, we got 42 of you live. We'll do a question. So Sherilyn says, would backing an artist to get into NFTs be a good idea in the goal to create wealth?
I mean, you need strategy, right? I think it's not just, yes, you can back this artist, but what is their business model? What is their plan? What is their strategy for building the community, creating content? What's the utility of holding this art, or if there is any at all? Will it be used in some sort of metaverse or game? All the back end work, the website, who's going to be managing the social medias, who's going to be creating the storyline. There's so much more than just like, should I invest? Are they just like,
well,
hey,
it's hard to find a good artist to invest in. Yeah. Well, you and I were trying to do this with space chats.
Right. You need, you can find, I think you can find I think there's some really talented artists out there, but then who's the business mind behind it? Who's the team that's going to execute?
Who's going to pay the artist?
Right. And I think it could be worthwhile investing, but just make sure there's a really smart strategy in place before you just go, here's $100,000, go create an NFT project. Like, I think
it's so hard to identify. I mean, that's one of the other things too, is that you couldn't have convinced me that CryptoPunks would do that. in those days, like, hey, just Tio, you should be spending all this time fucking buying crypto punks. Like, I had the opportunity. We were there. I thought
Right.
they were cool, but I wasn't paying attention. Now, this is one of the things is that when those trends show up, often when you're doing it, it's not cool. What's unique about the artist perspective here is that if you're an artist, then yes, because your ability to create even a small community, whether of only 1,000 people, a lot of what I like about Web3 too here, this whole thing is that it's become more clear that it's not about minimal viable product, it's about minimal viable community. What's the product and community that you can get together to kind of support each person as an individual artist? And what would be a normal street artist who just sells paintings in some downtown of 10,000 people as a cultural store would only make tiny money every year. But you go online, all of a sudden you got 1,000 people willing to pay $10 a month for something. You got 10 grand a month. This is the most money most artists will have ever made. Yeah. And it's right at their fingertips. Technology has already offered so many artists the opportunity, like this ability to make more money, and they just don't do it because, like, oh, my art shouldn't be digital, or I shouldn't have a social media presence. I just want to paint all the time instead of build a community. It's like one of the things that took Van Gogh's art so goddamn long was the community to build around these one-off random pieces that people are like, wow, look at it. It was like, took so many years. I really got to read more of Van Gogh's story apparently, but this aspect of if you're an artist, then yes, I sold the NFT for $1,600 that we did for the dog charity, right? Yeah. I've got friends that have been artists, so clearly way better artists than me. Like they can actually paint a face to look like a face and shit like this. Like I paint faces like this, whatever Basquiat did here, I'm like, I can paint this well. And she's never sold a painting for that much.
Yeah.
So it's clear that if you don't even need to be a good artist. You need a community of people that support you as an artist. You could sell anything.
Yeah.
I sold a clearly not art piece for more than my artist friends could sell their piece.
So ultimately, to that, whoever, asked that question, I think it's make sure there's a strategy to build a real community. And I think you got something there. But what else we got? Any other questions?
Oh, here, this one will be good for you as a US citizen because I have no input. Any advice on crypto tax resources around NFTs?
Honestly, everyone, even normal CPAs, TurboTax, they're all asking for, whether you're using Bitfinex or Coinbase, you can get all of your, download all your taxes straight from wherever you're trading. And everyone's really asking for these things. It's getting a lot easier. It wasn't like it was last year or even the year before. They're just getting really savvy and understanding it. So you can download those straight from wherever you're trading. Okay.
Well, there you go. That was TurboTax.
Yeah, they have it. They just had a commercial on it on television for crypto tax. Hey, use TurboTax. We do crypto, this, that. It's this year's been so advanced and all that. They're all ready for it.
Awesome. Well, Alex, wait, hold on. We got just some other thoughts here. You should check out Van Gogh's A Lust for Life by Irving Stone. There's definitely I think it was something about Van Gogh's letters to the brother, the letters between him and his brother, as someone suggested I read them. Because apparently during the time when Van Gogh was an artist, like he just couldn't make any fucking money. And his brother had to buy him like his paintbrushes and his paints and shit. He was like, and Van Gogh was like, I'm going to do whatever I have to fucking sell my paint. So he was selling art for like a place to stay for the night. Like, I think one of the stories goes that one of the pieces that sold for like $65 million or some shit today, he sold for somewhere to stay for a night or two with food. Like he's like, I'll give you this painting for like a few days to stay here.
You hear these
so
stories,
awesome.
Man. It's awesome.
That's the Genesis mint right there. That's like that was like a free mint, a free Van Gogh mint.
It's awesome, man. But I'm excited. Ultimately, let's see what happens. We can't control what happens in the world, but just be smart out there. And I believe in this space. I think it's going to go somewhere the technology part is what I keep trying to learn and understand, because ultimately that's what's going to take us into the future, and I just want to be part of it.
Yes, fuck yes, I like this. Hey Alex, did I show you these? Do you ever see any of these? We're actually, the Bear family will like this. So we did a bunch of variations.
Yeah. I remember these.
Okay, yeah, I love these so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the yoga bear.
Yeah,
I was actually trying to find, did you work with us at all on the rare bears when we were chatting about that?
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, you do. Oh, I missed. Those were great. Oh yeah, here's another good one. Check this out. Whew, the meditation bear.
Meditation bear. Beautiful.
Yes. No, I was trying to find the rare rares. So what? Are we going to build an NFT and sell it when the markets are super fucking high and Jacky Jack again?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can build anytime. Honestly, it doesn't matter.
I want to build a DAO. I want to build some. We want to build something. That's I got this feeling. I want to try to get Chris on the call with us. We're gonna see what we should build.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's build something, and we'll build.
Chris, you hear that? We're gonna send you a calendar, and I know you're gonna listen to this at one point. You beardy motherfucker.
Awesome, bro.
Awesome, Alex. I'm glad you jumped on and joined me for the live stream. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this evening. Sunday night NFT rants. Alex, stoked to chat and catch up. Let's play more CyberKong's videos. Oh, actually, how many of these games? We should make a list of these games to and try to do more live games. You got a PC or a Mac?
Mac.
Everybody, you can leave. We're just gonna check. You got a Mac? Fuck, both old.
Yeah, we'll go live. I'm gonna do. I've been saving up my Kongium, which is what these fuel rods in the play and collect game. And I'm gonna run some charms. So at the end of the week, maybe Thursday, I'm gonna do a bunch of runs. And let's see, we can just go live or pre-record it, and we can play the Kongs game, and you can see it in action.
Awesome. Oh, and we got our bear family retreat coming up too. I'm so excited about that.
Yeah, January 23, Costa Rica.
January 2023, January 29th to February 3rd. We've got beautiful tickets. Actually, can I show everybody without giving away the website so that they can't just go buy them? Because they're for sale at the Private Bear Den. We're gonna sell out. But we'll probably have a few public tickets left for sale by the time we get there. I won't do it right now. Anyways, so keep your eyes on that. If you're in the Private Bear Den, check out the tickets. Any other? No, it was great, Alex. That was great. Bear family, thank you all. We're just gonna dive off. Can subscribe on YouTube to people you like, and we'll see you guys in the next episodes. Oh, wait, hold on. I wonder if I just end the stream, or do you have to end the stream on your side? I can just end it here. I'm not sure on your